Hi everybody, this is Cynthia Readings, and this reading today is going to be about the solar eclipse happening on the 25th of October in the sign of Scorpio. Now, before I pull cards for you, I want to give you some information on this, okay? So, this is okay. First of all, eclipses are, it's like they push us forward, and it is a time for change, and it's time for radical change, okay? Now, there is a solar eclipse on October 25th, and then a lunar eclipse on November 8th, 7th, I believe, okay? So, yeah, so this is happening in Scorpio at 2 degrees. And this is very, like, it is conjuncting Venus, okay? I believe all of them are at 2 degrees at this time, but there are other squares happening too. I believe Mercury is close to them as well. Mercury is in the sign of Libra right now at 22 degrees, or sorry, at that time when solar eclipse is going to happen. Now, the moon is in square with Pluto, and we also have Mercury squaring Pluto in Capricorn. So this is a time where it's all about changes. It is really about where we need to make changes. And by the way, for you, especially if it depends where are your placements. Now, if you have Scorpio and Taurus placements, I would really suggest that you have a look at, your birth chart if you can. Even if you don't, let me just tell you that this is going to be impacting you the most. For Taurus placements, let me just say that it's going to impact more so like your physical, because Taurus is a fixed earth sign. And for Scorpio, it's more so like a self, especially if you're a Scorpio rising. It's even a Scorpio sun, it's more so like a self, okay? The changes that you need to make within yourself, okay? On emotional level. So this is also a time where there will be changes in money, in currency, okay? So as we all know what's happening in the world, okay? So if I look at it, in a broader like picture, that is where it's going to be impacting us the most. But I feel like even, as a collective, this is giving us a push forward to make changes in our lives. Now, this is again a time to step outside your comfort zone, okay? This is a time that you're ready to change. This is a time where some of you also need to challenge yourself, okay? Because, we know emotionally and, even physically the changes that we need to make, but sometimes we are in our comfort zone. Another thing I would touch is that this, solar eclipse is really about stepping outside your comfort zone and manifesting correctly. Because at this time, I feel like, especially with that Pluto squaring moon and then squaring Mercury, there can be, difficult conversations. There can be things, that we feel coming to the surface, but it's all about stuff that we need to change, having to learn the lessons the hard way and then moving forward. Okay, and, another thing I'm kind of getting here is that a lot of us are being pushed to make positive changes in our lives, okay? So if there's something recently negative that you went through, it's time that you learn your lesson and push yourself forward. Again, this is all about pushing ourselves forward, okay? Now, this is also going to be impacting us for almost the next 6 months. So this is not just our regular new moon and full moon stuff. This is like something very significant, and I believe last time it happened with Taurus and Scorpio axis, it was back in, I don't know, like 2012, 2014, and then back in 2003 and 2004. So if you remember what happened in your life at that time, good for you. I don't remember. I was a kid back then, okay? I am only like 23 years old right now, so I was in school back then, okay? All right, so let's see. So this Scorpio, solar eclipse is encouraging us to make the changes that are required for us to make important for our soul's growth, okay? And this is also important that we, it's also important that we pay attention to our behavior, self-sabotage, being lazy, procrastinating, or having plans and, purposely self-sabotaging yourself and your plans. This is about empowering yourself, okay? Now, of course, I'm going to go through all signs, but I'm going to give you a brief introduction before I move on to your sign, okay? Okay, now one more thing I'm getting here is that if you and somebody, you guys don't share the same values, if you guys are not on the same page, this is a time to understand where that person may be coming from, and if the vibe doesn't match, you need to let go of that person, okay? This is not a time to force things with other people, especially, okay? This is really about the depth, with the Scorpio. It's about intensity. It's about a call for change, okay? So Scorpio makes it all very intense and, adds depth to this. Now, this is also a time that we must release fear. We must release guilt and confront, okay? Sometimes we may not need to confront other people. We need to confront what we've been doing. We need to have a look at the mirror and really see what we have been doing, okay? So this is a time for you to have that, have a real heavy look at yourself with what you've been doing, where you want to be. Because again, like I said, the changes you're making now, they're going to be impacting you for the next 6 months, okay? Now, another thing I'm getting here is that this is about your shared resources. This is about money. This is about, like positive changes. So when you make positive changes within yourself, of course, they manifest in your life too, but this is something about money, luxury, things like that as well, with Venus being there, okay? Now, it all depends on your sign and where it's happening in which house and stuff, so I'm gonna get to that later on. But mainly, this is a solar eclipse that is helping us to strengthen even our intimate relationships, letting go of negative attachments. Like I said, what makes us truly happy, what makes us more fulfilled, okay? Now, this is also a time period to push forward towards new things, towards, finding new ways, and, letting go of the old. So it's pretty much out with the old, in with the new, okay? And also having a look at our addictions, okay? What have we been addicted to? What have, we been lingering on to, okay? So there's going to be new and potent energy. So I want you guys to pay attention to what you've been wanting to manifest, and of course check out your sun, moon, and rising for a full picture. I would suggest that you watch all 3 signs and then combine and get the message, but if you just want to watch one sign, then I would say watch your rising sign, okay? So to sum it up, this is all about, fresh start. This is about bringing that balance in our relationships, letting go of people who no longer serve us, letting go of codependency issues or just negative attachments, and having to let ourselves, get through that fresh start. So that is all that I have for you guys as an overall view for what's going to be happening for the solar eclipse in the sign of Scorpio. Do give this video a like if you enjoyed this. And now let's move on to your sign. Hi Taurus, let's see how is the solar eclipse with Scorpio impacting you. Now, yes, like I already stated, that it is going to be impacting Taurus and Scorpio axis the most. So look at in your chart, where is Taurus, where is Scorpio. If you have major Taurus and Scorpio placements, it is important for you, okay? So let's have a look at what it is going to be bringing for you. Now, again, this is a month where you need to be making important changes in your lives regarding relationships, also regarding changes that you need to make, in regards to your money and relationships in general. For you, it is happening in your 7th house, and that's the house of partnerships. That's the house of even our romantic relationships, okay? Now, if you feel like you have been in a dead-end situation with another person, with a friend, with a lover, that needs to go. If you've been lingering on to the past, that needs to go, okay? Because if you're holding on to it, it's going to impact you more, and it's going to keep impacting you for the next 6 months. So this is a time for you to have a look at, matters related to marriage, divorce, new relationships, old relationships, commitments, things like that, okay? They're requiring your attention. Some of you also need to learn to live more independently, or you need to figure out what are your values, your standards in those relationships, and where do you stand in that particular relationship. And again, this could also be about negotiations in your business, at your workplace. So that is what the 7th house mainly deals with. So let's see what the cards have to say for you, Scorpio. Oh, sorry, Taurus. Okay. What do we have for Taurus, please? So we have domination. All right. And what more? We have, there you are, Taurus energy. We have extremism. So with the 7th house energy. So something is going to be revealed to you in terms of your relationships, okay? And I feel like you're somebody whose relationships have taught you a lesson big time. They have taught you resilience. Maybe your romantic relationships have been very eye-opening for you as an individual. So this is a time I would tell you to look out for things being revealed to you about people and make changes according to that. Learning new things, and again, knowledge is power here, okay? So just when you think you know too much, you don't, okay? Learn about things before you get into them. And this is, again, talking about expanding. This is not a time for you to play small. Something about money, something about work really pays off here. Some of you could be going to a wedding, or there's definitely somebody in love that you are manifesting. They could have Libra, Taurus, Sagittarius placements, okay, even Scorpio placements. So, and again, you know, look at your life where, like, this is not a time for extremism. This is not a time for attaching to something too much. This is a time for you to really see, you know, where in your life, you know, sometimes we are caught up in relationships or situations where we are constantly proving ourselves. We're constantly showing up for the other person and not getting much back. So again, this is not about conflict. This is really about being wise, learning from these changes, especially surrounding your relationships. And again, you know, what are your deal breakers? If this is a new relationship, if this is an old relationship, what changes you need to make, okay? So this is mainly about that for you, okay? For some of you, there could also be a difficult conversation that could come up. Yikes. Okay, so again, it's all about how you handle it. Show me what is there for Taurus, please. Show me what is there for Taurus, please. So we have completion, things in your life that are coming to an end. And again, this is all about endings and new beginnings. And mysticism, I feel like a lot of you are manifesting things in your life that you don't even see coming, but it is the path. Like, when you will take the path, you will realize, okay? So I do feel like Taurus, new doors are going to be opening for you. And there's not everything that, you know, is, you know, manifested on the 3D yet, but you have to give it time, at least the next 6 months, for it to manifest for you. So that's it. That's all that I got for you, Taurus. And I would suggest that you watch your sun, moon, and rising, all 3 signs, to get the full picture. See you. Bye.